channel, and Vlogmas Day 16, I think. Can't remember, honestly. All is kind of blending together. I am, wow, should not have talked while I was putting this on. I am doing my makeup and getting ready to go to Barnes and Noble. I really want to, before I go to Barnes and Noble, I want to wrap some gifts. Let me take this off before I put my makeup on. Because last year I waited until like the very last minute to wrap all of my gifts. Like by last minute I literally mean like day of. Like I was wrapping gifts on Christmas Day. And it was so stressful. It wasn't relaxing at all. Oh, also, if you guys are new, we're renovating our house, which is why like everything back there is the way that it is. We're just living through it and being positive and all that good stuff. So don't mind everything that's back there. It's literally like a faucet and something else. But I am just wanting to go to Barnes and Noble, but before I do that, I want to wrap some presents. And I'm really trying to just like enjoy my holiday season, you know. Like sometimes it's really easy to like actually forget to enjoy this time because, you know, there's just like so many things to bake, so many families to see, so many gifts to buy. Like it's easy to get really overwhelmed. And so I've really been trying not to do that. I have not watched one Christmas movie. We did decorate our tree last night, which was so nice. It made me really get in the holiday spirit, and we listened to some Christmas music. But I'm just finding myself getting wrapped up in the like hustle and bustle of the holidays and not really like the joy of the holidays. So I really want to bring that back. And one way to do that, I feel, is to wrap gifts and turn on some Christmas music. So we're gonna do that next. How have you guys been feeling like with the holidays? Comment below like how you've been feeling. I feel like a lot of people have been feeling stressed. And I don't know if that's because like all of us just really haven't had the same experiences. By the way, I used the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation. I have a whole video on like how I do my makeup, and I do the exact same thing every single time. But now I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer, and I switched between this and the NARS concealer. They're both great concealers. But I feel like part of the reason why like some of us are having a hard time is because this year is just so different. Like last year, a lot of us were not seeing family members, you know, we were kind of like at home. It was just really different. And now it's like we're pushed right back into all of the like expectations that we have for ourselves and for like, you know, families and stuff. And it's just like a lot to handle. I don't know, at least that's how I'm feeling. Maybe I'm the only one who feels that way, I don't know. But I'm really trying to balance like seeing family and seeing everyone and making time for Christmas parties, or, you know, just like I'm seeing other people go to Christmas parties, and part of me is like, oh, I've only been invited to, you know, like none or one or whatever. And then another part of me is like, oh, I've been invited to this, and like I am like so overwhelmed, I almost don't want to go. Just lots of like back and forth feelings. And I feel like the holidays kind of just gives that chaotic energy. But maybe I'm the only one, I don't know, comment below. Anyway, I'm gonna finish up my makeup and we're gonna head to Barnes & Noble after I wrap a couple gifts. I just need to do a couple because once I get a couple out of the way, I feel like I'll feel better. I keep pushing it off, but I have all that stuff from Target that I picked up yesterday. And then I have stuff from Boyd that I picked up the other day. So I just need to wrap it. So we're gonna finish our makeup, and after that we'll wrap some presents. I'm done with my makeup, and it actually turned out pretty good, but it's literally the same makeup look that I've done for years. I just don't know how really to do anything else, but let's go in here. I'm gonna wrap some gifts in here because, like I said, I don't want to wait till the last minute, so I'm just gonna set you guys here. I have an insane amount of Christmas gifts. Like, I'm literally gonna try to hold this up. There's so much in it. Like, what the heck? You literally can't, I can't even lift them up. Like, it's impossible. Oh, I'm gonna start with my Christmas gifts from Boyd, and if you guys are watching this video on the day it actually goes up, this is the last day to buy stuff from Boyd and actually have it like get to your house before Christmas. I'm gonna actually make a second order, well not a second, but like a millionth number order again today, just because I'm not done Christmas shopping, and I feel like whenever I find a good clothing brand, it's just really easy to like shop there, you know, like, and just like buy everyone the same thing. Like, so this hoodie right here, it says Boyd on the back. I did a little try on for you guys when I was in New York or LA, and I bought this for some of my family members because I thought that they would like it. So yeah, I don't know, it's just such a good gift. So I literally have it right here, and that's what I'm going to pack. But yeah, so not speaking of clothes, but speaking of buying things, I have been on this kick of buying books, even though I have a million books. I just finished Verity, which if you guys are avid readers, you'll know that Verity is a book by Colleen Hoover that literally everyone and their mom has talked about. It's so good. Like, here, let me tilt this down so you guys can actually see me, like, you know, wrapping. Okay, but like I said, Verity is a book that everyone and their mom has talked about on TikTok, on really everywhere, and it's so good. Like, it's as good as people say it is. I was kind of like, wasn't really sure it was gonna be that good, because sometimes I think books are overhyped. Like the book by Colleen Hoover, another book by her. She's one of my favorite authors. It Ends With Us. I didn't really like that one, and I think that that was like kind of an unpopular opinion because everyone is obsessed with It Ends With Us, because like, I don't really know why. I think it's because in the book, I feel like the author is kind of glamorizing the relationship, but it's literally about abuse. Like, and I just didn't really like the ending. Like, I don't know, I feel like the book was super overhyped, but Verity is not, so read that one if you are like looking for a good book. Another good book that I read recently was 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And it was a book that really made me think about like back in the day and things that were like socially acceptable for women versus like for men. It's like all fiction obviously, but it's very, very good. I really liked reading it. I think I like books that make me think, and they make me think about like society and like why I view things the way that I do, or why I used to view things a certain way and think differently now. Like, I just like books that make me think, even if it's like not like deep thinking, you know, like I don't want to be like feeling like I'm in class, you know, but just something that makes me kind of just like think a little bit. So right now, I want to pick up, well not right now, but like later whenever we go to Barnes & Noble, I want to pick up another book that is like top of the charts, you know, bestseller. I feel like I like getting bestsellers because I always feel like if I buy a bestseller and like a ton of people have read it, I will most likely not hate it. There's very few bestsellers that I've read that I've been like, oh my god, this is the worst book I've ever read. But there are a lot of books that I've read that are not bestsellers that I'm like, why did I even waste my time reading this? And I cannot read something and like not finish it. So if I start it, like I have to finish it, which is, I don't know, maybe that's a toxic trait, maybe that's like a good thing, I don't know, but it just is such a waste of time if I end up like not liking it. So comment your favorite books below. I'm always looking for new book recs. I don't know, I feel like anytime I find a book or anytime I find a new book by a new author, I like binge all of their stuff. And that's kind of like what I did with Leanne Mority. She wrote the book called Big Little Lies. It like turned into a show. And then Colleen Hoover, she's also another author that I've literally just kind of like become obsessed with. So yeah, those are a couple that I like, I'm really loving. But comment below your favorite books. We're gonna head out. We're gonna wrap a couple more presents, and then we'll head out to Barnes & Noble and see what we can pick up there. The first section that I always walk to when I first come in is always the new fiction section. Sometimes it's a hit or miss, like this isn't really my vibe and I feel like this is like usually what's here, but I always like to check the new fiction section first, because if I'm gonna find anything that like other people haven't really read yet, it'll be here. So this is always where I check. Okay, I saw this book in where was this one? This was in Target the other day, and I think this is actually the author of, if I remember correctly, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I think, which kind of makes me want to read it. This author wrote Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a book I've also heard is really good. It's literally making me want to read it just because of that. The place I go to look for books is this fiction section, and I feel like this has like a lot of historical fiction here. I actually have a really hard time navigating bookstores and libraries for some reason. I don't know why. I think I just like get so engrossed in all of the books, like just looking at them, that I don't really know where to look. But I love whenever they like put books that kind of stick out like this, because that's when I like really am able to like, I don't know, it catches my attention that way. I also love the Reese Witherspoon books. I grab a lot of books from here. Like literally this one is the one I was just talking about, Daisy Jones and the Six. This makes it easy for me to find good books, because like her books from the Reese Witherspoon book club are always really good. Like this is a literal movie. I've heard that this one, Where the Crawdads Sing, is really good, and I love just grabbing books from this book club section. This book was in the Reese Witherspoon book club section. It's called The Light We Lost, and on the back it says, Lucy's faced with life-altering choice. Before she can make her decision, she must start their story at the very beginning. And it's, I guess, about Lucy and Gabe, and they meet as seniors in Columbia University. And I guess it's a day that like changes their life forever, which maybe it's like a car accident or something. I feel like it's always something like traumatic, you know? And it says, together they decide they want their lives to mean something, to matter. When they meet again a year later, it seems fated. And then I guess it goes through like 13 years of their lives together. I'm also really big on font, so like the font in this book is really small, but I actually like font that is small as long as it's not like a dark ink. I don't know what, comment below if you guys are like that too. But I think I actually might get this one. It's a New York Times bestseller, and like I said, it was from the Reese Witherspoon book club section. Another book that I really like is this book by Junot Diaz. I read it in college. It's called The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, and I think that this is fiction, but it's based on like a lot of like kind of true events. It's about a guy who, he is Dominican, and he's kind of like nerdy, and like the area that he lives in kind of like makes fun of him, but it just kind of goes through like the nuances of living in an area where you're like different and having to navigate through that. It's a very good book. Literally read it in college and I would read it again, and it's a winner of the Pulitzer Prize, so I mean that just goes to show that it's like a good book. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna check around and see what else I can find too. There's a section right here called Book Talk, and literally everything here is like written by Colleen Hoover. There's this one, and then there's this book right here, and this one, which she's like one of my favorite authors, and I've literally read all 3 of those. This book right here actually looks really good. I don't know if it's like my vibe, but it's called The Love Hypothesis,
and it's pretty much about a girl who's like never been in love, and it kind of like talks about how she just literally kisses the first guy that she sees and then like kind of starts to fall for him, but he's like, I don't know, a jerk. And I don't know, it just looks like it would be good, so I might get this one. I like books that are like really easy reads, and this one looks like a really easy one. The thing I've noticed is that a lot of these books have been here like for so long. Like The Notebook is so old, but it still is a book that is like front facing, which just like shows how often people still read it. I also saw The Devil Wears Prada over there, which is another older book. There's just so many like old books that are still like going strong, which just I guess goes to show how good they are. So many people like talk about Jodi Picoult and how she's like a good author, but I have never read any of her books. Comment below if you guys think that I should. I literally have not read one. I've heard good things, but I don't know why I just never think to read them. I think part of it is the way that it's written. The words are like so small, and there's a lot of like description in her books, which kind of like bores me. I like a lot of dialogue better. So let me know if you guys think I should read some of her books. They're not really like things I gravitate towards, but maybe I'll like it. Now in the romance section, and one thing I like plan to do if I see it is read Beach Read. I've heard so many good things about it, and I don't know if I'm actually gonna find it. Like I said, I have a hard time like actually finding books in, like, I don't know why. I think it's maybe because I just don't know like the names of the authors or something. I don't know, I'm always confused, but I'm gonna see if I can find it because I've heard such good things about it. And I feel like when I get a book in my head, I literally cannot stop thinking about it, and I like have to read it. And that's one that I've just heard recommended so many times, so I'm thinking if I can find it, I'm definitely gonna buy it. When I was here, I actually picked up this book called not last time I was here, I actually bought this on Amazon. Haven't read it yet. Like I said, I have so many books at home that I literally haven't read yet, but this looks like a really good one. I'll link it below if I can find it. It just looks so good, and don't mind my nail. I literally have to get them done still, but yeah, it looks like a good one. There are even more Colleen Hoover books down here, and I've like read so many of them. I have not read Maybe Someday, and I actually own it, so now I feel like I should. This is another one, All Your Perfects. I have not read this one either. I kind of want to. Like, I literally want to read every one of her books. November 9th was one of my absolute favorites. Like, I can't explain how good this one was. It was such a good book. I actually do, like, on my Instagram, I do these little like reviews of books that I read, and this one was a 9. Haven't rated anything a 10 yet, just because a 10 to me is like a book that I would read again and again and again, which is like very rare because there's so many books in the world, but still a really good one. Sometimes I'll see books and I will literally think like, have I read this? Like, sometimes book covers, you know, change, and this like title sounds really familiar, but I don't know if I've read it. I almost feel like I have, and it just was a different cover, but I get so confused now that they're changing covers so much these days. I don't know, but this one could be one I've read, not quite sure. This book right here is another book that I own and like literally haven't read. I have so many of them. I don't know why I even come here because I have so many at home. But this one is, I've heard, a really good one. I really need to just pull out my books that I haven't read and put them in order of what I want to read. One book that I have read that I do own is, if I can get this back in there without bending it up, is this book series over here. So this book series, I read it years ago, and it's very similar to like 50 Shades, like almost the exact same, only the girl actually has some backbone. So if you're wanting to read a book where the character is like a very strong character, then that's definitely a good one to read. They have so many good books here. I feel like I could literally stay in this aisle forever. Beach Read was gonna be in this aisle if it was here at all, and I found it. So this is, like I said, one book I've been wanting to read for a while, mostly just because I've heard it's been recommended so many times. But I will link it if you guys want to pick it up, and I don't really know what it's about. I can't even remember. I just remember I've put it in my Amazon cart so many times and I haven't actually bought it, and I've heard so many people talk about it. I will say that I have heard that this book needs a new cover. Like, apparently the cover is like not representative of the actual book. And I think I thought that this was gonna be a literal beach read, like something that I would want to read while I was on vacation, and I just didn't buy it because I didn't have any vacations coming up. But I heard that that's not the case, so I'm gonna read this. I've heard it's amazing. really excited to read this one. I came over to the mysteries and thrillers section. I'm a big fan of thrillers, not really like the mysteries part. But I actually read this book not that long ago. Like I said, I grab a lot of the books that are from the Reese's Book Club books. They're just like, I don't know, books I always end up liking. I did like this book, but the ending was like really different than I thought it would be. Not necessarily in a good way, but the whole book like leading up to the ending was pretty good. So I think I'm gonna try to see if I can find another thriller since I already have a romance. I like to grab like different genres at the same time. It's actually crazy what branding can do for books because I don't even look at titles anymore. Well, I mean, I do sometimes, but I don't even really look as much anymore at titles as I do at covers of books and like what I've seen people talk about like on TikTok and stuff. Like this one by Sandra Brown. I've heard so many people talk about this book and how good it is. Never read it, I've just seen the cover. And literally it just like popped out to me because I saw Sandra Brown Mean Streak and like the title. And that's usually how I find my books, literally just on the internet, like videos like this or not even really TikTok, just mostly like my friends talking about it on their stories and stuff, or just friends like in person that come over and talk about stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can find one more thriller and then we will get out of here. Okay, all of these books were so good. I read Stranger in the House, loved it. Read The Couple Next Door, loved it. So I think I'm gonna grab one more of her books because if I like two, I'll probably like this one too. I read this book years ago when I was younger, and I don't know what happened to this guy, but it's like so interesting that like when people write biographies, it's like at the end of that biography, you literally have no idea what ended up like happening to them in their life. So now I almost want to like Google this guy or something to see what happened to him. His life was such an interesting, sad, but like inspiring story. Okay, I'm back in my car. I just want to do a little haul of what I got. I love going to stores to shop for books. I can't decide if I like shopping for books online or in store better. Comment below what you guys like better. I think I like that I can easily, like on Amazon, I can click like recommended books for like someone who likes Colleen Hoover or whatever, and then it'll like come up with recommended books. But this is what I got. And let me show you. So the first book that I thought I was gonna get, that was the Reese Witherspoon book, I did not end up getting. I opened it up and it was written really like, it was written like a letter. So like she was like writing like she was talking to the guy that she was interested in. So I was not down for that. But I did get this book by the person who wrote The Couple Next Door. Loved that book. It's like such a good thriller. So I got this one and it's pretty new. It was actually just written last year. That's another thing about buying books online. I feel like they recommend newer books versus like in store or like Barnes and Noble. They recommend stuff that's like kind of older, and I like reading new books. Like I like being able to talk about books and then someone's not like, oh my god, I read that like 5 years ago, and I'm like, cool. And then I also got Beach Read. So let me read the back of this. It says, Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance, and when she pens A Happily Ever After, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in a neighboring beach house, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then, one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designing to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of the backwoods death cult, obviously. Everyone will finish a book, and no one will fall in love, really. So obviously, I assume that they fall in love. He apparently likes literary like type books, and she likes like fluffy like lovey-dovey books, which is like my vibe, and they ended up falling in love. So yeah, it looks like it's a good book. I've heard it's a good book by a ton of people. It's the author of The Hating Game. That book's name sounds so familiar. But it is a New York Times bestseller. So
Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys in my next video. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I hope you're loving Vlogmas. Doing vlogs every day is no joke, but I really do love hanging out with you guys every single day. So if you're loving it, let me know in the comments. So maybe I'll like add in vlog weeks next year, like where like once a month or every couple months I'll like do a vlog week where I vlog every single day of the week. I don't know, let me know if you guys would like that, because I know that I've just been loving vlogging every day with you guys. So see you guys in the next one literally tomorrow. Love you guys so much. Bye guys.